I've never been to a drag show. I've never met drag queens before, so I didn't know whether I should be like checking them out or not.
This is a Bachelorette recap from a guy. Now look, I like Katie. I hope she finds what she's looking for. I hope she ultimately finds love. And it's like, yeah, she's getting rid of the worst guys each week, but you're also getting rid of the worst guys each week. We need drama. That's why we watch this show. A Bachelorette finale between two guys who just don't bring any drama to the show would be like an NBA Finals between the Bucks and the Suns. Man, this is the most boring summer ever. But no, please give me more of Greg and his excitement and pizzazz.
I said early on, I was able to see what a glimpse of everyday life would be like with Katie early on, so.
I'm so excited to spend the rest of my life with Katie. My personality is as exciting as my name. Greg. I actually like the name Greg. That was mean. So this week starts off with the guys being introduced to the Whoa Challenge.
The guys in the house all have to agree to withhold their self-care as long as possible.
And if you're like, what's the Whoa Challenge? Honestly, I envy you, because I yearn for the days of my life before I knew what the Whoa Challenge is.
Called Operation Whoa.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah, like whoa.
Whoa stands for week off, whacking off.
Week off.
I don't know how you feel, but I feel like there's nothing better to start off an episode of The Bachelorette than with a little masturbation talk. You know, shaking hands with the milkman, a manual override, marching the penguin, double-clicking, polishing the banister, lone rangering, poaching the eggs, celebrating Palm Sunday, cooking cucumbers, making the bald man cry, nulling the void, playing 5-on-1, doing a Meg Ryan, doing downstairs, taking selfies at the bean.
I gotta see the bean. I gotta see the bean.
Gotta see the bean. I mean, you gotta see the bean. Gotta see the bean. Burping the worm, shucking the corn, paddling the pink canoe. If that made you feel uncomfortable, well, good. Then you know what it was like to watch this week's episode. The big Verge, Mike P, is probably like, I don't know what any of these things are.
I've been mastering this my whole life.
Or, counterpoint, this is going to be harder for him than anyone. But I'll say this, I could have gone this entire episode without learning how much Blake dates Pamela Henderson.
Are you like a daily,
Yeah, weekends a little bit more than the weekdays.
Okay.
After work, depending, and then at night for sure.
I mean, I'd almost rather watch the celebrity dating game.
Can someone give me a beat?
Michael Bolton?
Hey there, mystery celebrity. Your girl here, Medina, is 24. This doesn't sound good. But listen, I'm halfway to 48. I'm getting up there. But listen.
Almost. So the first one-on-one this week goes to Justin, which if you watch these recaps weekly, then you know I'm a huge fan of Justin. I mean, any chance this guy has to get on screen, I'm here for it. So for their one-on-one date, they do the totally normal first date thing and go grab a cup of coffee. And, oh no, wait, I mean, pretend to get married.
Today, Justin will be seeing me wearing a wedding dress. That's exciting to me.
Nothing like pretending to get married on the first date. It's almost as awkward as Blake's masturbation schedule. I'm sorry. This date was pretty boring, but she does give Justin a rose, which had us all like... Now, if you thought that one-on-one date was awkward, just wait until you get a load of this group date. They bring on some of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars. That's not the awkward part. To get the guys to have a roast debate.
Great royal debate.
That's the awkward part.
You know, if you've ever seen a roast, it's like a comedy show.
Let me just say, there was very little comedy in this. Because these guys are as much comedians as Tiny Taylor Lautner is an NBA power forward. I mean, these guys are as funny as a Grey's Anatomy season finale. These dudes trying to be funny felt more out of place than Zooey Deschanel and Michael Bolton trying to host a game show.
Oh, really? Yes.
I mean, look at this.
I mean, Hunter, it's cute that you have a top 4 list already. It's funny that you're in my bottom 4.
Sick burn. So during the royal debate thing, Hunter starts getting grilled.
We all know you're a leprechaun, dog. I know Katie has a heart of gold, but you can't add it to your pot.
You remember Hunter. Looks like a short, beefy Zoolander. Earlier in the date, one of the drag queens asked him if he loves Katie, and he gave some answer about how he just doesn't throw around the L word loosely, and they need to work their way to that point. But then when he's asked in front of everyone how he feels about Katie, he says,
I'm falling in love. Absolutely. No question. This feels real.
But wait, you said,
And I heard that same question asked to Hunter, and his answer was
Correction,
a little different.
Well, you didn't hear it right.
I heard the question. I was standing right there.
so the guys just go to town on Tiny Taylor Lautner.
You're a super fan. You're commenting on the Bachelorette blogs and forums.
Ooh.
First of all, he said super fan like it's a bad thing. What the hell is that supposed to mean? What are you trying to say, sunburnt Bradley Cooper? I call these guys the plastics, with Aaron being the Regina George of the bunch. They're clearly the most popular. They're always setting the trend of hating other guys, and they're just kind of bullies. So then Hunter's given the chance to rebut what the guys said.
Hunter, these dudes have been roasting you. Now is your chance to let them have it. Take us out.
And for the first time in his life, he's the bigger man.
I don't have any insults to character for any of you guys. Katie, you know, I've seen that love takes caring, it takes being aware. And when I do find the woman that I'm gonna spend the rest of my life with, I will never take it for granted.
I mean, I'm shocked this dude took the high road, because I'm shocked he could reach it.
Hunter, at the end of it, he wanted to be the bigger man, so to speak, and
Emphasis on so to speak.
to me, it just comes off as phony. It's kind of like fake.
I mean, I'd agree with Aaron here, but how many times have we heard Aaron say this about some guy in the house that he didn't like? I mean, he said it about Hunter.
To me, it just comes off as phony. It's kind of like fake.
He said it about Thomas.
To me, it just comes off as phony. It's kind of like fake.
Carl.
To me, it just comes off as phony. It's kind of like fake.
And that guy from the beginning, who I honestly can't remember his name.
To me, it just comes off as phony. It's kind of like fake.
But don't worry, I'm sure Hunter won't be fazed by this.
I'm an adult. I'm a grown-ass man.
I wouldn't necessarily say grown. So that night, the plastics tell Katie all the dirt that they have on Tiny Taylor Lautner.
So, I did talk to a few of the guys.
And this makes Katie physically ill.
I need to throw up.
Like after eating week-old Taco Bell. And I mean that literally.
Oh my god, I hate this feeling.
And if you're like, we didn't need to see the shots of the bathroom door while she's dry heaving behind them. But it's like, we started the episode talking about masturbation. So really, I guess we've got to pick our battles here. And trust me, I can assure you, it was better than this week's episode of Celebrity Dating Game.
Yeah, you really tied it together.
Mr. Celebrity.
So the one-on-one went to Connor, where they had a double date with Caitlin and her guy to show off Connor's inability to play volleyball. Katie went into this date saying that her and Connor needed a physical connection.
I've been in somewhat of a friend zone. We are missing this physical connection. When we kiss, I don't feel that spark or that passion.
Yeah. Probably because the only thing she could feel was his kung fu grip on the back of her scalp. So they kiss.
They're kissing, and we can't see it.
Trust me, Caitlin, you don't want to see it. And so I'll tell you how it went, but let's just see how the rest of the night plays out. So while Connor's dressed to the nines, ready for their dinner date, which they actually don't even eat dinner at, so I don't know why we call it that. Katie shows up dressed in street clothes.
Hey.
And it's like, watch Connor's face right here. He's like excited to see her, but then he quickly realizes, oh no, she's wearing Netflix clothes. Like, that's not how you dress when you're dating 30 guys on The Bachelor. That's how you dress when you're dating 2 guys on the sofa, Ben and Jerry. So they walk into his hotel room, and Katie's like, I hope I'm not interrupting. Connor's like, no. You just caught me in the middle of buttoning my shirt. I stopped when you knocked. So Katie basically sits him down and says, I can't go through with our dinner date tonight. And Connor's like, but we don't eat at those things anyway. And then Katie just breaks up with him, to which Connor honestly cried harder than she did. Never a good sign. Katie should have known from night one that this was never going to work. Do you know how hard it is to build an emotional relationship with a cat? So Katie leaves and is like, you can go back to buttoning your shirt now. Bye. I actually liked Connor because he was the only guy on the show from my actual hometown of Nashville. But he was, and I don't use this term too often, a goober. Total goobs. I mean, my man was bragging about being good at dad jokes. And it's like, I know this is coming from me. Pot, meat, kettle, sure. I'm like the daddy of dad jokes. But like, I don't brag about it at parties. I just do them at parties. which is probably why I don't get invited to many parties. So for whatever reason, money must be really tight on this franchise. I mean, it could be the pandemic, or it could be the mid-range six-figure settlement that they had to pay Chris Harrison. Either way, they couldn't afford a suitcase producer this season, meaning Connor had to go and grab his suitcase himself in front of all of the guys. And this was really emotional. Again, these guys probably cried harder than Katie did, especially Trey, who hit us with like a crying LeBron face. I mean, it was an ugly cry. But speaking of things that are ugly, you're probably wondering where Blake is. Well, bearded Lou Ferrigno is busy going John Cusack and Say Anything, with one of the most cliche and stereotypical romantic gestures in the last 40 years. Only this time it was Buzz Lightyear with a beard doing it. I mean, my man already stole his look from the Avengers, so of course he's going to steal his romantic gestures from Say Anything. So Blake used this time to sneak in with Katie and steal extra time. I mean, I didn't like it. It's not cool. I don't know. It's just the whole thing's weird. I think it was gimmicky. I mean, the only thing more cliche than that would be recreating that scene from The Notebook, which they're apparently doing next week based off the trailers. So that night at the rose ceremony, Katie cancels the cocktail party, skips the booze for the boutonnieres. So at the rose ceremony, Katie gives a rose to Tiny Taylor Lautner.
Hunter? Can we actually go outside to talk?
Psych! Damn, you got punked again. You gotta know that Katie's go-to move is pulling the old rope-a-dope at the rose ceremony. The old rose ceremony rope-a-dope. The old rose-a-dope. Sure. She pulls Beefy Zoolander outside to talk to him even more for some reason. But then she sends him back and proceeds to give roses to everyone except for Hunter and the Plastics, which that sounds like the name of some sort of high school garage band. Hey, what's up? We're Hunter and the Plastics. So with one rose left, who does it go to?
Brendan?
I'm sorry, Brendan? Was anyone else shocked by this? Like, what? What? What the? I guess it goes to Brendan, a.k.a. Johnny Bravo. If what Dolly Parton says is true, that the higher the hair, the closer to God, then Brendan is the Pope compared to the big verge, Mike P. I gotta give him credit. Not for being the only one of the Plastics to survive this week, but this episode might have been the first time he was able to get all of the hairs to stick up on his head. I mean, color me shocked. Actually, you know what? No, don't color me shocked. This is the trend. If you're a drama stirrer or a villain, you're going to be sent home immediately. Which is, I mean, look, it's great for Katie's love journey, but it sucks for this show. I mean, can we please keep a villain on this season for more than an episode? I mean, this is shaping up to be one of the most boring last few episodes ever. Even more boring than Greg's poem.
All these men seem to be in their fields. I'm getting the sense that they know what we have is real. I'm excited to see if me and you are meant to be, because all I've been picturing lately is me down on one knee. Thank you.